I just wanted to touch that topic that you just mentioned. It's very important to be original. It doesn't matter what directors influenced you, who you like. You will never become second David Lynch, or you will never become second Guillermo del Toro, because nobody needs it.
You're also, filmmakers, not going to be Quentin Tarantino. Stop saying his. If I hear that name, I love Quentin and I value him, but I hate when a filmmaker is just like, well, Tarantino did it this way, but like, you're not him. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome again to another edition of Average Superstar TV. I'm your host, Lauren Lepre. Boom, please hit that subscribe button on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon, Stitcher, and iHeartRadio. And this week we are back in the film world, but we go all the way over to the land of the rising sun. This guest currently hails from Japan. This girl is on fire right now. She currently is filming a feature called Bloat. She's also been involved with the film fest circuits with her short films She, Slit, and Call My Name. This girl's rapidly busy. I hear a lot about her. Got to know her over recent weeks, and I think she was a wonderful guest for this show. And with that, I would like to welcome filmmaker Pablo Absento.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Lauren, and thank you for having me here.
Absolutely. You're definitely someone who have obviously I've been talking to for on and off for years. You're one of your major short films. She debuted at my Film Fest, Freedom Shorts, and Liberty Massacre. You were in both of them, and we just kind of stayed in touch on and off for the last few years. I have seen lots of press on you. I kind of keep up with your news feed, so I'm really glad that I got you on this show. But with that, let's do the VCR thing. Let's hit stop and rewind. When did you even know you wanted to be involved with film?
Well, basically from the very beginning, because I felt the storytelling in me, and I always loved horrors. Like, even being very little, I was really interested in reading those books and, dark stories. And it fascinated me. It has fascinated me my entire life. So some people even say that I'm a natural born, because also my birthday is Halloween Eve, which is such a funny coincidence. Yeah. But yeah, so I tried photography, and I tried this and I tried that. I tried journalism. And finally, I ended up working on TV, but that I felt that it's not enough for me. And when I moved to Japan, I felt like really strong desire to make something else, to make a film, a horror film, because before that I didn't feel like I can pull it out.
Okay.
But being here and being involved with different productions, so that happened. And well, since then I haven't stopped.
That's good. I heavily appreciate your work ethic, because there's lots of filmmakers out there that work hard. There's lots of filmmakers that just do very little and they want all the glory and credit. And getting to know you a lot recently, definitely, I know you're a bulldozer when it comes to working, and I think that's amazing. So you are currently in Japan, but not a national board citizen. So where exactly did you grow up?
In England.
And what? So that's obviously a whole different world there. Starting with the alcohol. So where, how'd you land in Japan?
Well, that's an interesting story. A relative used to live here, my stepfather. So he used to work here, and I visited it here a couple of times as a tourist. And then I was just like, I didn't want to live in one country my entire life. So when you're still young, you want to explore, and when you have a relative, it's easier, to fade in. It doesn't matter that you have to live with them, right? But it's still, if someone that you know is in the same country, is in the same city, it's easier.
It's what I call the best help desk you could possibly get is if you have a family or a friend wherever you're trying to go, because to build from the ground up is hard.
So I decided maybe I can try, because I liked it here, and it was so very new and different, and it felt like a challenge. So I decided to give it a go, and I was just like, all right, I'll try for 1 year, and then if I don't like it, I can always come back. And it's been like this March, it will be 13 years.
Good for you. I know you just said you wanted to not live in the same place, but was the opportunity any better being in Japan to be a filmmaker, or didn't matter? There was a scene where you were at previously.
It's a difficult question. Here, it's the film industry. To be an independent filmmaker, for example, it's incredibly difficult. But I've never, targeted the local market. So, and the main thing for me here is that I think I found my cinematic style. And that's what I want to introduce to the entire world. And that's how it works for me.
Understood. That's great. So you're there, and what your very first film that you started pushing anyway, was it She, or was that the first one? That was what you debuted with? Do I have that right?
No, my very first film was Call My Name.
Call My Name. All right. So that's your very first, like, you're putting your name behind and getting out there.
Yeah. So then I learned a lot of things, like, submitting film to the festivals, because it was all very new to me. And also I learned, for example, if you have a 30-minute film, it's not a feature, it's not a short, and it's very difficult to program into the festivals. That's why it played several festivals, but not that many. But the main achievement still was that we got Best Horror Short in Germany at the Germany After Dark Horror Film Festival. And it was very motivating. And after that, I made She.
That's great. So Call My Name was about how long in length and time?
30 minutes.
30 minutes. So this is a good topic to bring up for a guy that ran his own film festival, that when you have the 30-minute film, I'm not saying it doesn't matter how good the film is, but 30 minutes is a huge block. So take notes here, all filmmakers. It's a huge block to put in a film festival, especially if it's a short film festival where people's attention span, you might think you have the greatest film, but if someone buys a ticket and they're like, I'm not liking this film, how soon is it going to end? 30 minutes could get someone to get up and walk out for good. When the shorter the film, it just increases. And most importantly, for the film fest itself, when you got a 3-minute short, a 7-minute short, and then another 5-minute, before you know it, you can fit 6 more selections in compared to your 30-minute film. So basically telling you, a guy who ran 2 film festivals, yeah, sure, I've taken a lot of 30-minute films, but few far in between. The shorter, the better. I'm just telling everybody like that. Keep that in your head when you're submitting to film festivals, that the longer your film goes, the more it decreases the odds of getting selected. And that leads me to a film that you did called She, which started linking the two of us together. And I was very that was out of the gate. For anyone who knew my history in Philly, I ran 10 film festivals, and it was largely local. And when I opened up the doors on Film Freeway and the other sites, She's one of the first movies that landed in my lap, and I saw the production value and all this, and I'm like, oh, yeah. That's all I said. Oh, yeah. This one's like the first selection going right in. And that started you and I, our relationship as filmmakers. And it just changed React. And I mean, when you open up the doors for around the world, because I was just trying to get a name of myself in Philadelphia, so I didn't know how to even reach it. The Film Freeway just kind of started there, so I didn't even know. Without a box, wanted like, I don't know, $200, $300 or something to even like sign up for, so I was staying away from that for a little bit, but it was great, and that's how I ended up as a filmmaker, getting to know all these filmmakers from around the world. And I always said, you're one of the first people I started talking to. So your film went over very amazing in the Liberty Massacre event. And I also run another one called Freedom Shorts. Liberty Massacre strictly film festival for horror movies. Freedom Shorts could be anything: horror, comedy, drama, documentary. I like She so much it got brought into that festival too. So you're a two-time champion at my event.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I remember, when I was just like, this time when I made She and when I completed it, I was just like, this time I'll do everything right. I'll make the proper duration, because as you said before, I couldn't agree more. 30 minutes, it's just like, it's too long. And yeah, it's all exactly what you said. But by then I didn't know. So I just wanted to, like, to create something. I don't think Call My Name is bad. It's just, like wrong duration. But anyway, so when I was making She and when I completed it, I was just like, this time I'm going to do everything right, including the festivals. So I started researching, and I found a lot of information on the internet, and that was that Film Freeway, and I started submitting. And actually, I think I remember that very well, because for your festival, it was late deadline. And I was just like, all right, I'm doing this deadline, late deadline. And, like the letter came not right away, but like several days, couple of days later. And I was just like, oh my God, this is working, So I was so happy. And unfortunately, I couldn't make it to the world premiere, because it was world premiere. And thank you for everything, because yeah, it means the world to me. And I remember we got best horror and best cinematography, and my DP was just like, he was just like, oh my God, this is working, like everything is paying off.
Yeah,
so yeah,
and it's one of those things too, to stay right where you're at. We love the selections, we love the awards, we love being recognized. But the darker side of that, and I can tell you from a guy who ran his own film festival, you're putting all the money into the event, into the venue, and the program, and this and that, and you come down to, you're like, looking at the end, you're like, there's no money here, like that enough to fly anybody in from around the world. And I also know, having my film Pennsylvania Hardcore and The Dark Military, that anything I got selected for, same thing with those film festivals. So a lot of people got to realize, when you make a budget for your film, if you want to get to these film festivals, it's just like, oh, cool, I'm selected. I get to pay my own flight and hotel and trip and all that. Like, in just that glory of how many hours is the film festival and do you win anything? Like, it's crazy, but you would think automatically, anybody who's not understands this business, that, oh, when you get in, you're going to get also tickets. And I mean, there are some film festivals like that are very established, that are making super money. But back when She was selected, my opening fee to start off, early bird, was $9. And like, that's great for the filmmakers, because, hey, I understand, being a filmmaker myself, I don't want to see you, bleed your pockets out. But $9 times,
very affordable, very affordable.
Very affordable is one thing, but then also, I don't have enough money to start doing that, like to bring anybody in. It's like a double-edged sword. Yeah, like, someone doesn't get selected, they only lost $9. I think that's great, because I've also seen some of these scumbag film festivals that are charging like $85 to $100 to watch a short film. And I'm like, that's disgusting, because that's $85 just to say your film's 10 minutes. I got paid $85 to watch a film and then deny it. Ugh, that's disgusting. I'd rather take it for $9. Like, that's, I looked at both sides, because I was doing both. I was trying to provide a stage in Philadelphia for everyone to shine, versus also, I understand what it's like being a filmmaker, being poor.
But sometimes, you know, like actually, that's a very tricky question. I know that I cannot prove anything, and I'm not going to prove anything. But still, a lot of film festivals, they don't even come back to you. Like they don't even, you know, watch your film, if you know what I mean. So
Oh,
they charge you money, but like
so, well,
much.
I love that you brought up. You're bringing up all the good stuff. So I remember when I had my films in, particularly the Dark Military. If anyone knows the website for Vimeo, you could actually see how many views and duration. So if I submitted it to, let's just say I submitted to like 25 film festivals. The first run I did was 3 film festivals. One I got in, and 2 I got denied. So that's 3 total. When I went to my Vimeo, the movie was watched in full once.
Yeah.
And the other one wasn't watched at all, and the other one was watched for 10 minutes and turned off. So that means 2 out of these film festivals that denied me watched for 10 minutes, and one of them didn't watch at all. And like I'm sitting there, I'm like, I'm new. I want to blow these people up, but I don't want to look like I'm the crazy filmmaker. Now that I'm older and stuff, and these film festivals aren't around, you better believe if I ever got near these people, they're going to get a piece of my mind. But there are horrible cash grabs. And, so I'm saying basically, if you're a filmmaker, you probably could still do that. But if you submit, the more film festivals you submit to, you can't track where it was screened or who watched it. You could just see the bar of how many times.
Yeah,
And
that's
where,
what I'm talking about. You cannot prove anything. And
no,
by this, you know, like by arguing, but by trying to prove something, I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. And you don't need this around your reputation anyway.
you're right.
So,
And one of the things about me and the team when we watched, I made sure you watch every frame, no matter how horrible. Because sometimes he got some films in, like, oh my Lord, what were they thinking? But I would
I,
watch every frame because I didn't want to be the one that was called out of like, you didn't even watch it. And I would, Film Freeway has one button you could press for deny, and it's like an auto reply. But I used to like to write the filmmaker and say, hey, I'm sorry. I wish we could select everybody. However, I did like the cinematography and the character of such and such, just to let them know, like, hey, I'm talking to you about your actual film. I tried to make them feel better that they didn't like wonder, like, did they even watch it? But if you tell them something about your film and the character and the story, just unfortunately, I couldn't take everybody. I think the filmmakers felt better submitting again.
yeah, well, that's fair enough. You cannot just like invite everyone. And
No, you
that's
can't.
it's just regular process. And I hope people understand it. That's the same about acting. Then, you know, for example, you have a casting and a lot of people, they send you their reels. And I think to go through each of them, that's just, you know, that's simply a respect to people, to those people who made an effort, yeah, and they would like to be in your movie. And it was just like, okay, I know a lot of directors, they just go through the pictures and try to select by look, but this is very wrong. And these two processes, they are very similar in my understanding. I mean, the selection of the films at festivals and casting.
Yep, absolutely.
I think
So,
so.
when you're casting your film, do you actually open up the doors? I mean, I know it's like the standard thing, like, hey, you open up a casting call. I've never done that once. Then again, I know I'm so involved with this community that, like, I just draft. I'm just like, her, him, and that child over there. I've been watching them forever. I've been following their career. That's who I want to work with. Do you do open calls like that, or do you kind of have specific people in mind, or is it a little of both?
It depends, both. Yes, both. For example, for the current feature, of course, I have been working with casting directors. So that's a different process. But when you're independent, you have your own ways. Sometimes just like when you're new in town, for example, you don't know anyone, of course you do open casting call. You invite people to auditions, or you just, you know, tell them to send you their reels and stuff like that. Or maybe you have an eye on someone and you want to work with, as you already mentioned. So it depends, really. It does.
Yeah, I'm one of those. I mean, this is just me. I don't hear this out of a lot of filmmakers, but I've also make a lot of bullet points where I'm also an actor. And I've been in a lot of movie sets where the actor or the actress, they hit it out of the ballpark, but meanwhile, they're kind of a virus on the set. They're loud. Maybe they're trying to draw too much attention to themselves, and it upsets the rest of the cast. So I'm very big on, God, I love to use him or her, but I don't need them on my set because they're going to be a virus. So I'm very big on your reputation when you're off camera. You know, that comes into play huge when you know, yeah, or especially if I hear the horror stories. You always got to say someone can make a horror story about you and I. You know what I mean? Like that's not good. So you can't fully write somebody off. But if I witnessed it, yeah, that goes on the checklist. I'm not forgetting that one, you know. So that's
Yeah,
big. And then, so how did she did pretty good overall? It was screened around the world pretty much, wasn't it?
it did very, very well. I think we screened at over 80 festivals, something like that. Yeah, and only that year when it was kind of traveling, touring, only that year I went to the States around 7 times, like back and forth,
Mm-hmm.
and talking about like filmmakers' own money, paying flights and hotels and everything. But it's not for the glory. It wasn't for the glory in my case, right? Not even for, of course, it's always nice to get an award, a trophy, I don't know, whatever, recognition, right? But
Uh-huh.
for me, it was different because I'm, in the first place, I'm so far away, and you need to let people know you. You need to introduce yourself. You need to promote yourself. Because when you see just a movie, it's sometimes, well, you like the movie, but it's nothing comparing if a filmmaker is there and you speak and, you discuss different topics and you communicate and you network. And this is very important.
It's the best network you could possibly do. I
Yeah.
can't tell you how many film festivals that I went to where my film selected. By the end of the night, people. I also will go to a film festival if it's in reach and it's even if I don't have a selection in there and I'm just going. I'm like, I want to go meet. I watch a movie and I'm like, paying attention to the ending credits. Like the director here, especially if they introduce like, I want to talk to that person. I want to talk to this actress or that actor or who the hell's that cinematographer? And are they close within reach from me? Because, I make a list of everything, who's going to be my ADs, who's my special effects people, your audio people, you go right down the line. I have a giant list. And it's just like, this one can't do it. There's the next one. Or, hey, I like this cinematographer more than this one, but the one below it, I believe for the project I have is better suiting because I think their equipment is just better for this particular project. Like you don't know how things fluctuate.
Yeah,
what's
sure.
your movie? Yeah, what's your movie? What's the ingredients? That's huge too. So
Yeah. And of course, like to watch other movies, you learn a lot. I don't know. It's just a funny story. Listen,
I'm listening.
I went to Colorado, and I remember, I don't know, well, it's not, I don't know. I know why I was super jet lagged. I just sometimes couldn't stand it. It's just, just switching off, and that's it. And I remember that was a very friendly filmmaker, and he was like, "Oh, my film is going to play right now. Please go watch it." And I really wanted to watch it. All right, so I'm inside, and the film starts, and something happens. I open my eyes, and it's already, final credits. Oh my god, I felt so bad. But I just couldn't. I didn't even notice that moment when it happened, and there was nothing I could do. But I still feel bad.
Listen, none of us are as sharp as we want to be or as perfect as we want to be. Like at least you knew immediately you were wrong, but you knew. I think if anybody realized, like, hey, everybody knows what it's like getting off a plane flight. That you're all off for a little while. So that depending how far you went too,
Yeah, that's true.
And then so she was well received, and then it Slit next. Is that the next one?
That was the next one. Yeah, but I was trying to make a pilot for the entire show. Doesn't matter if it's like web series, probably web series better, or TV show. So it was a pilot for the project called Japanese Legends. I wanted to make like an anthology, and each episode is supposed to be dedicated to different folklore tales, Japanese folklore tales in particular.
Yes.
And it's based on a very famous urban legend. So yeah, it was a pilot.
Good,
But
good.
I didn't have any managers by then, and it's difficult to pitch by yourself, especially here when Japanese producers they want something else, and I didn't try to put it on the local market, as I said already. So I was trying to introduce the things to the international communities.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's so. Let's go on. So, as your films are coming out and they're hitting the film festivals, and you're doing your interviews, you're doing your networking. I mean, I know you've run in and chatted with some horror movie icons. I mean, how does those bridges come together? Do you reach out to them? Is it just did I remember you from a film festival? Did they actually reach out to you and be like, "Hey, hey, well, I see what you're doing over there. What I'd love to work with you." How does that work?
You mean how my feature happened?
Sure. I just mean in general, when things are start coming together, like who you've been talking to for your feature or all that. Is it the agents that are hitting you up, or do you reaching out to them? I'm just kind of
No.
curious because when I'm out, I'm everywhere. So sometimes I will just there they are. I'm going after them. Like, hey, like, let's hang out. And then sometimes you're so loud, especially like on social media, that you could be talking to someone and don't realize, like, oh, look at that, like such and such from Return of the Living Dead just commented on your post, like, wow, they're watching me. When I watched them my entire youth, like this is messed up, but awesome,
Yeah, you never know. You never know what's going to happen. So that's what happened to me, actually. I didn't expect anything like this. When she's circuit was over, I premiered on Fangoria online with an interview and stuff like that. And after just 10 minutes, when it popped up on social media, including Twitter, Guillermo del Toro retweeted it. He retweeted she.
That's great.
So yeah, after that, and kind of, I'm an emotional person, but I try to keep it calm. But that day I was just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah, that happened. Then Creep TV, that's a live was short horror channel.
Yes.
I got an offer from them, so she landed over there, and now it has, I don't know, like 7 or 8 million views.
That's wonderful.
Yes, and my current producers, I mean my feature film producers, they saw that film, I think maybe on Creep TV, and they contacted me.
That's wonderful. Yeah. So it just snowballed and kept going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because by then I was already, not giving up, but I want to keep creating, of course. But when you're investing, I don't even mean money. It's everything. It's energy. Your creativity, and
Yep.
more and more and more, and it doesn't pay off. You kind of want thinking about pulling out a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying.
Where's the balance? You always say that the words over and over myself. Where's the balance?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. The only thing about a failure or something that you believed it was going to work is at least like it's not linger in your head, like, did I give it my all? You gave your all, it didn't work. Well,
Yeah.
So that's just for anyone doing anything in life, but particularly in film. Yeah, you gotta swing for the fences. So your latest project, Bloat.
Right.
Tell us about that, because I know that's like your baby right now.
Yeah, this is my first feature film, and we shot most of the material already, and now we're deeply in post-production. We've had several press releases, and if you Google, you can find a lot of information. But long story short, it's a J-horror film, written and directed by me and produced by Basilevs. It's a film company run by Timur Bikmanbetov. He is known, like, Unfriended, Dark Web, Searching.
Okay.
That's a screen life format. It's when the story is told with the devices, and everything is happening on monitors of the devices of the characters. So it's a very interesting format, and it's quite new. So for a lot of people, it's still new. That's why it's interesting. And not just that, it stars Ben McKenzie. He's from Gotham. Yeah, it stars Bojana Novakovic, also famous for many, many works. And we have a great cast. So I'm really thrilled to show this film to the entire world, because it's going to be something special, I hope.
I love it. I love hearing where you were and where you came from and where you're going. And I love that you have Commissioner Gordon in your movie from Gotham. That's awesome. I think you're doing everything great. I think you're doing everything right. Do we know is this going to hit the market in 2023 for everyone to see? Or
yes, hopefully this year. Well, I'm pretty sure that's the plan. That's the plan this year. So now that's why we're all working very hard on that. And yeah, trying to make it happen.
That's great. That's great. Now, so is this like I guess I'm kind of curious. Was this something that you pitched? Was someone like, hey, I got an idea for this project and I know the exact director I want for it? Like, how did you become, did you make all this come from the ground up?
I first, they wanted to make me a film in that screen life format.
Okay.
And I pitched several ideas that I had in mind. They picked one, and that we just went on from there. Then there was treatment. Then there was, first we even made proof of concept. We made a proof of concept, and it got green light, and I wrote the feature script, and we started shooting. Yeah, so that's how it worked.
That's great.
But before, we had to make a little trailer, proof of concept. It's just, I don't know, 4 minutes or something. So
Yeah.
Also we were shooting here in Japan with local actors. Yeah, it was a great experience.
Let's stick right where you're at. How's Japan, like the market there? I mean, is it mostly mainly television? Is there a perfect balance between that and film? Like, do you fit in there? I mean, I didn't know if there would be more like locals only. I didn't know. Tell us, like, how's that work there?
Well, mainly locals only.
Okay.
I was lucky enough to work with Japanese production at Toho Studio in 2020, 22, 21? I don't remember. Yeah, it was a vertical horror show produced by Takashi Shimizu. He's the creator of original Ju-on, The Grudge.
Okay.
It was a show that you can watch on your smart homes, because it's called smart horror. It stands for smart home horror. And it's just 50 episodes. They independent from each other, so you can watch them separately. And there is the client was the platform. It's like a vertical YouTube, basically, that you have on your phones.
Okay.
And he hired 12 directors, including me, and everybody made some episodes. I made 3 episodes. I know it's not available freely online. It's available only on that platform right now. And it's only in Asia, so that's why it's difficult to watch. But I hope someday it will see the world. I mean, yeah, it was nice working on that, because It's the first time I worked 100% in film with Japanese production, all Japanese people, all Japanese actors. So for me, it was a challenge, something new. But I am satisfied with what I made, and people like it. Well, to those who I show it, and to those the audience, they have comments over there, so the feedback is quite good. But
Awesome.
apart from that, yeah, it's mainly TV shows. It's called TV dramas. A lot of people like it here, but it's like conveyor more likely. It's not about art. It's about let's shoot and go next. Even sometimes you watch and like the lighting is so horrible and a lot of things. So and it's just like, all right.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't want to be involved in anything like this because for me, films it's art first of all, and I want to keep it this way as long
Yeah.
as I can.
Well, I could tell by your heart and what you said at the beginning. Like you want to tell a good story, and you don't need bad lighting. You don't need a bad lit set because that just sucks the life out of the actor, the performer, by far.
Yeah.
I don't care if you bring Daniel Day-Lewis in. If you're gonna like not have the room lit, like everyone's gonna be like, "Oh God, what happened here?" But yeah, it's just lighting and audio make the film, man. Like the actors aren't going to shine without that. Sweet.
Yeah, and films are dying here. I mean, no, they make a lot of films here, but for example, horror now and before, even like Japanese horror that they used to have before here in Japan, it's impossible to compare what is out right now and what was out before. So we used to have some really great stuff here. Now it's just like even you look at a poster and it just makes you sad already.
Yeah, I guess is this everything has the arc. The bar goes up, it goes down, it goes up, and what quality of films are you're telling good stories versus it's on fire and everything's just gelling. So I don't know. I guess you're on the medium down bar, but but all right. This is a fun part of the show. Okay, we're gonna go 10 rounds with you. These are questions that have music, film, you as a person. These are just fun questions. Yeah, there is no wrong answer because they're yours. All right, first question. What's your favorite country outside of Japan?
Oh, United States. Yeah, I really like it there. I've been there so many times, and different parts. It's just every single part. It's different fascination, and for me, people like I feel there, like it can be my home. If you know what I mean.
So you could see yourself here one day, live in the United States.
Yeah, I love it there, and I love traveling the country whenever I can, and every time I see something new, just I like it there.
Wait. Next, what's your favorite band?
Depeche Mode.
There you go. Awesome. They're about to go on tour. I saw they're coming back to Philly. I saw them a whole once in 2001. So that's a good selection. What is your most underrated band?
Oh, New Order, probably.
Funny, I just saw them in the Pep Shop Boys. They came through Philly in September, so that's pretty cool. All right. Your favorite album of all time?
I like David Sylvian's Ride.
Okay, I can't say I'm familiar with it, but that's cool. All right, and here's a fun, juicier one. What's the one band that you go to bat for that no one really likes, but you will stick up for them?
That's a difficult question. Really, yeah, and I need to think about that. No, it doesn't come up right, like just like.
It's all right, you can pass on it. You don't have an answer. You don't have an answer.
Okay.
All right. Who's your favorite?
What's yours? Tell me.
Oh God, it goes on. It goes on forever. I mean, I like so much bad stuff. I have seen so many bands that I don't like, but I'll go because of the gathering.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, like yeah, like there's a lot of I don't like Rage Against the Machine. Everybody goes crazy for that band. I liked them when they first came out, but Rage Against the Machine became the machine, if you want to say it. Yeah, they totally sold out. So but I mean that's just one of the million. But your favorite actor?
Oh, Jack Nicholson.
Great selection. Yeah.
No, I
No,
mean every single question you're asking right now, the list can go like forever.
mhm.
But I think the idea is what pops up in your mind, right? Am I correct?
To me,
First,
that is the answer. The first thing that pops in your head.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, probably
Your
that.
your favorite flick?
The Thing.
The John Carpenter or the original?
That's John Carpenter. Yeah, The
Good
Thing
call.
with Kurt Russell. Yeah.
To me, that movie still holds up very good. Like the effects and everything. I mean, you can look at the effects a little and be like, all right, it's a little dated, but I think those effects still. You're like, man, that's not too far fetched.
I don't think so. You know, it looks real
Yeah.
and it doesn't look like it's 40 years old.
No.
It still looks better than all of those, you know, if we compare with those green screen fests shows, which I don't like in particular, when it's just everything is green screen.
I don't.
And
I don't like it. I don't like green screen stuff. Particularly, I don't like fire because on me it looks like fire, but I don't ever feel like it matches what the scene is. If you know what I mean, like if you just could just make fire without people there, I'm like, all right. But once you put people in there, I'm like, I don't like it.
mm,
What's an underrated movie to you that a lot of people don't talk about?
Pathology.
Not familiar. Explain.
Uh, okay, I need to. I watched it a long time ago, but I liked it a lot because it's about forensic expert students,
Okay.
and I don't know. It has its atmosphere, and I love the music, and I love the acting, and I like the story very much, and how it begins and how it ends. So for me, I don't know. It kind of got into my soul, and I still feel that it's very underrated. It never got its success or something. It just, you know, like even if you say nobody knows about that, well, most of the people don't know about that. But it's still
Is it by chance? Is this a harder film to find, like the stream online, even, or is it just a film that's out? It's just not too known.
it's not even a horror. I mean, it doesn't involve anything. It's a human horror. Yeah,
Yep.
let's put it out this way.
Okay. Cool. Who is your favorite person you love to hear about from history? They could be currently living or deceased.
Phew. That's a difficult question, but for example, a couple of days ago, I read about Michael Hutchins.
Yes,
That's
NXS.
that's a vocalist of In Excess, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just I've read a lot about him, and I used to like I still like their music very much, and I think all the puzzles that led to what happened, it's very interesting. It's not about like it's my favorite person in history, but I just like it popped up because I kind of investigated and Googled about it a couple of days ago. So it's
So
still
you're
fresh.
into the story of what led to his death. That you're very fascinated by.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I just know how, what they said, how he checked out, so I don't know. I liked NXS growing up. I still do. I think Disappears like their best song they've ever made. Devil Inside and all that. And the song The Stairs is so underrated. But for me to say, like, as far as the death goes, like, run around, I can't tell you I did that. I just, it's weird. It's weird of all our people from history that all we get is an article. but with no real investigation. You know, like Billy the Kid's probably one of mine. And it's funny because there's no proof that he's from New York City. And they always say, like, Billy the Kid originally was born in New York City. Like, there's literally no proof of that at all. They were just making the concept of what he was doing down in New Mexico with the regulators. And I think the papers may have just said, let's put some spin on him and say, like, where is he from? Oh, the greatest country, the biggest country, the biggest city in the world, New York City, when there's absolutely no proof that he was ever there.
Yeah.
And that to me opened the doors when I was younger of like, what else are they lying about? Or maybe, just trying to fill in the blanks,
Yeah.
Yeah. But,
but when you read things like this, it's just, you see those small needles of the circumstances that so much could have been changed.
Yes.
And it didn't have to happen, right?
No.
Yeah, but when you just see the entire scale, that's only when you can understand. But probably when you're in that run, it feels in a different way.
Yep. Yeah. And my last question would be, when your film era ends, like, what's the main thing you want to achieve?
I just want to keep creating, seriously, and I want to leave something meaningful here, and I want to entertain people, but not just empty entertainment, but with a message that you can deliver, some message that stays inside. And I want to create these kinds of movies. When you leave, for example, the cinema, movie theater, you keep thinking about it, and it leaves something inside you. Not just like, okay, you watch, you leave, and you forget about it. I want something more. I want something deeper, more meaningful. So that's their achievement is going to be, I hope.
I way love your answer. I cannot tell you how much that I want the same thing. You want that one flag in the ground of like what your name's attached to, and know that like you touch people, Yeah, that's huge. I mean, I know the horror movie audience is like where my world is, but when you say like films I would truly love to be doing, I'd love to leave something behind, like a Magnolia or like The Breakfast Club that, taps into who we are as people and, human emotion. Like, that's really in the end where I'd like to be. Not that I'm trying to denounce or I don't value the horror. I absolutely do. But, that's just telling you, that's the many levels I have of where I'd like to go,
Yeah.
So,
I remember when I watched Mulholland Drive at the theater, and I came with a friend, but it doesn't matter. So after watching, we left. We came outside, and we were just like, "What just happened?"
Yeah.
And we started smoking cigarettes, right?
Uh-huh.
And talking, not really arguing, but exchanging opinions. And then we noticed there was another group of people also smoking.
Yeah.
And everybody was talking until, I don't know, like midnight. And it's just like, this is the thing.
Yep.
This is the thing. I remember it so clearly, and it was just like, no, listen. I think this what's happened,
Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy you say that, because when I've tried not to be like either one of these people. I want to be who I am. I want to be this Lauren. But when you say my favorite directors, it's John Hughes. And I'm such a big thing about when you were growing up, like someone who can actually reach the kids. That's why I said The Breakfast Club, Pretty in Pink, and so on. It's John Hughes. But over here, it's David Lynch. And those two can't be further apart as directors. But it's great because I haven't tried to be like them. And nobody could be like David Lynch. He is one of a kind. There's so many films that if you try to do that much dialogue with dead time, it doesn't work. But there's some odd reason we all are like this when David Lynch makes a movie. Like, we don't care how long the actor sits there at a gas station talking. You are just absorbing that in. And what you just said about Mulholland Drive, I remember when I watched that with someone, when it ended, the person went to talk. I was like, could you just be quiet for a minute? And then, like, for 3 minutes, and they go, do you need help? Because it was a DVD. I was like, quiet. And after 3 minutes, I was like, I don't know what happened. What happened? Like, I tried to, like, decipher. I was just like, I give up. What happened? Yeah. So I know, I get what you're talking about with the groups, because I loved it, but at the end, I was like, you know, I claim to be very motivated and love to go out and get. I never claimed to be smart, so I was like, and they're trying to decipher.
Don't say that, right? No. But same thing. I remember, like, first we were smoking just in silence and trying to digest, and then, what do you think? But yeah, and I just wanted to touch that topic that you just mentioned. It's very important to be original. It doesn't matter what directors influenced you, who you like. You will never become second David Lynch, or you will never become second Guillermo del Toro, because nobody needs it.
You're also, filmmakers, not going to be Quentin Tarantino. Stop saying his. If I hear that name, I love Quentin and I value him, but I hate when a filmmaker is just like, well, Tarantino did it this way. But, like, you're not him, okay? You're not him. He's him. Let him do that. What are you bringing to the table? Oh God, I did that. When I hear the Q word, sometimes I just cringe, because I'm just like, you're just trying to mirror what he did, and that's not going to happen. Like, that's most likely never going to happen again. You know, he is who he is. We all love his films equally. I hope he keeps making films forever. But stop pulling that philosophy shit of something.
No, right, you're right. It's the most popular name.
Yep.
If like all of those copycats, they mainly mention Tarantino for some reason.
Yep.
But he's unique. There's not going to be the second one. Never.
It's really hard. And same thing with, like, how Clerks happened. Like, that's a very hard. I love Kevin Smith too. Trust me. Like, that universe is great, but the odds of something like that happening is so hard. And, you know, that's why there's only those two. Really, that in the last 30 years that accomplished that sort of thing. So I basically try to tell everybody, be yourself, you know, work hard, stop quoting other people because you're not them. Like, who are you? That's me. Like, who are you? Because you're trying to be someone else. Who's really, when you peel back the layers, who are you trying to be? You know, so that's great. Pablo, this is a fantastic interview. What's the best way they can reach out to you?
My IMDb page. I have also my website, which is very plain right now, but I'm working on that. But the information is there, and I'm on the social medias as well. And I have representatives, which you can find on IMDb Pro. I have agents. So yeah. Who wants to reach out, they will find ways to reach out, I believe.
That's great. And we should see Bloat by the end of the year, right?
I hope it's by the end of summer.
Sweet. Well, I thank you so much for stopping by and sharing your world with us. I thank this audience for taking the time to stop by again and support Average Superstar TV. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon, Stitcher, and iHeartRadio. And with that, until next Monday,